In this video, I'm going to explain the changes to the area in Campus once called Lesson Planner. The Lesson Planner was used to set up your gradebook, including grade scales, groups, and weighting of those groups. And of course, you could always add assignments in the Lesson Planner. The new version of Campus replaces the Lesson Planner with an area called Assignments. For high school and middle school teachers that teach the same subject or course throughout the day and have multiple sections of that same course, this is going to be a big time saver. For teachers who teach multiple subjects, like we do at the elementary level, you'll see a few time savers, but not nearly as many as you would at the high school and middle school. Now I'm going to be explaining the initial setup of assignments area that really only occurs at the beginning of the year. And of course, this is the assignments area, so I'll also be touching on creating assignments. Now when you first log into Infinite Campus, you'll want to make sure you're in the correct school year. So go ahead and select, in this case, 11-12 school year, and then make sure you have the correct school selected. Now for the section, we're going to select your literacy course first. These first two sections up here are just for attendance purposes only, so we'll be setting up literacy, math, science, and social studies. So I'll go ahead and select literacy, and then from the menu tree, go to instruction and select assignments. Now what I'm going to do is be working from left to right. We're going to work on each one of these areas before we go on to the next area. We'll complete this area, then this, and then this. So first of all, let's click on Edit Teacher Preferences. Now these are preferences that can be applied to all of your subjects or courses. You can read through all of these check boxes, but the one I recommend checking is the Hide Drop Students. Generally, you don't want to see students on your roster or in your gradebook if they've left your school or dropped a class. The next area that we're going to check on here is the default grading task, and I'm going to select Trimester 1. Now this is a new option for teachers, and what's nice about it is when you're ending one trimester and starting a new trimester, you get to pick when you're ready to begin adding assignments in the new trimester. Some teachers have their grades posted and are done a week before the trimester ends, and some aren't done until a day or more until after the trimester is done. So this is a nice feature that you'll be able to use. Now, since this is an option that will be done 3 times a year, I'll be sending out email reminders and instructions on how to switch your default grading task throughout the year. Again, the nice thing is that you have control of when you make this switch. Now the last step in this process is to apply these settings to all of your sections or all your courses, and you can do that by clicking the Mass Assign to Multiple Sections. Go ahead and click Check All, and then finally we can click on Save Teacher Preferences. Now the next setup area is called Edit Grade Calc Options, and once you click on it, you'll see that we can set a grade scale on this screen. At the top of the screen, you select your grade scale. The other main setting here is weight categories, and at this point you'll need to know if you're going to have categories for the subjects selected above, and most importantly, are you going to weight them. Now for elementary schools, literacy usually has 3 categories: reading, spelling, or something like language or grammar. There is no agreed upon standard for weighting these categories. Spelling is usually around 10% and the others 45% each. Other subjects generally have only one category, simply called grades, and with one category there is no weighting. Now since we're on literacy, let's check the weight categories checkbox, and to apply these settings to all of the trimesters, just click Fill All, and then just finally hit Save. Now let's go ahead and repeat these steps for all the other subjects, but assume that they will only have one category and not be weighted. So I'll switch to our math class, Edit Grade Calc Options, select the grade scale, Fill All, Save. I'll switch to Science, Edit Grade Calc Options, select my grade scale. Don't forget Fill All, Save. Then we'll pick Social Studies, Edit Grade Calc Options, select the grade scale, Fill All, and hit Save. Now that seemed like a lot of steps, but you now have the whole year done for grading scales and weighting. The most common problem we get is teachers are unable to post their grades because they haven't selected a grade scale. By completing the Edit Grade Calc options for these subjects now, you're done for the whole year. The next area is called Edit Categories. Now, categories are those groups or folders that you can categorize items that you'd like to grade a student on. Like I mentioned before, most subjects just use one category called grades. Some teachers may use categories for tests, quizzes, homework, etc. Now, right now, let's just set up the categories I mentioned for literacy. So I'll select literacy and click on Edit Categories. And what we'll do here is create a category. In this case, I'm going to create reading. I'm going to give it a weight of 45. And down here we'll check your literacy section. And we're going to apply this to all 3 trimesters. The trimester area is where all of your assignments will be stored. And then just hit Save Category. We'll hit Edit Categories again, and you can see here the reading category we created is in each of the trimesters. I'm going to go ahead and create another category, and in this case we'll call it Language, and give it a weight of 45. Check the section and put it in your 3 trimesters and hit Save. Then we'll do the final category. We'll call it Spelling. And we'll give it a weight of 10% and place that in the 3 trimesters and hit Save Category. Now you can click on Edit Categories once again, and now you'll see the 3 categories that you set up. You can see your weights. If you had to make any changes to this, you wanted to rename this to language, grammar, you can make your changes and hit Save. If I hit Edit Categories, again you can see the changes that were made. Okay, now let's set up those categories or a category for your other subjects. I'll select Math, Edit Categories, create a category, and we'll just call it Grades. We're not going to use any weighting, but we'll put it in the Math section in the 3 trimesters. Save the category. We'll switch to Science, Edit Categories, create a category called Grades. We'll switch to Social Studies, Edit Categories, create the category called Grades, place it in your section and the 3 trimesters, and hit Save. And now you have set up all your categories, all your grading scales. You're pretty much set for the school year. Now the last area I'm going to cover is how to create assignments. This is the last option here after doing your initial setup. Create assignment. And I'm just going to call this Welcome Back Assignment. You need an abbreviation. At this point, there's a place for description objectives, but these are hidden. You don't need to use these. Most teachers don't, but it's there if you need it. This toggles that area on and off. Here you can put in your assign date and due date. You can change those if you need to. And then lastly, you want to place the assignment into a trimester. And I'm going to pick trimester 1. This assignment has 100 points. I'm going to change it to 10 points. And that's your last step. Hit save, or you could hit save and score. I'm going to go ahead and do that just to show you right away how to enter scores into that assignment. So now we can see your roster here on the left hand side, and we can go ahead in this column which says GT1, which is referring to grading task 1, trimester 1. See here. What I'm going to do is just fill this 10 point in all assignments, and now all students have 10 points. You could go ahead and overwrite some of these, place different scores on each student. You could drop an assignment. That's what this column is for, if you don't want to count that assignment for a student. You can place comments here. Student was absent. Some other items that you can do on this screen include marking that all assignments are turned in. This should pop up there. Maybe this student didn't turn it in. You can mark missing assignments, your late assignments, incomplete assignments, cheated, and if they're exempt, in other words, the student doesn't have to turn this assignment in. So all those options are on this screen. It's pretty much everything you need is right here. So you can hit save scores, and you're ready to go. If you need to create assignments for other subjects, just switch to another subject, create the assignment, enter in a name, abbreviation, start date, which trimester, and in this case you'll want to put which folder that you want it to go into, and set your points and hit save. And that is all I'm going to cover right now for assignments.